So I'm sitting here with Ellie, the former bride of Paradox Productions, and I had the pleasure of DJing and being her MC. And it was a ton of fun, in my opinion, but I don't want to say too much because I just want some, authentic feedback from Ellie. I know she was happy because we had that conversation and was hoping to just take a little bit of a deeper dive and hear some of her maybe pain points and some things that really excelled in her mind and her perspective. And so at that, I'm going to just run through some questions. You ready to rock, Ellie?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. So my first question is, as a former wedding coordinator, how much of an impact does a DJ have on the entire experience?
In my opinion, a DJ would make or break the event. I really feel like a DJ is the voice of the event, of the voice of the wedding. They kind of set the tone. They help things carry along throughout the event. I feel like the DJ is the glue of a wedding, especially when it comes to the dance floor. They remind all the guests why they're there. And I feel like they're the ones that allow guests to have that lasting impression. Having an experienced DJ run your wedding is super helpful because they can read the crowd and assess the vibe of the guests and the event. And so a DJ is very important when it comes to like impacting whatever event they're hosting.
All right, question number two. Considering DJ options for your own wedding, what were your biggest fears, pain points, and challenges? And, if you want, you can even just think about like the brides you worked with. Like, what were their fears, pain points, and challenges?
I wanted a DJ to be confident. It was a fear of mine to have a DJ just play a set list. I wanted more than someone to just press play on the music. Some other brides that I've worked with don't want their DJs to really overstep like they're the main event. If that makes sense, they're talking the whole time, not really following the script. So I think having trust with your DJ is super important. I have experience in wedding coordinating, but there's so many brides don't. And so they know what they want, but they don't know how to get there. And so having an experienced DJ who can help fill in the blanks is super important. And I think that that is a challenge for a lot of people to find a DJ who can do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. And one of the things that brought to my mind about your wedding was I loved that it was like a collaboration. You were comfortable in giving me the reins, but at the same time, you did have a very specific vision. And then there was some things that you kind of told me like, hey, this is what I want to do. Like when we did your introduction and we wanted to do it like the Steelers, how they twirl the terrible little towel. You had this specific vision, right? And like, I love that we collaborated on that because what we did together was better than what really either one of us could have done on our own. So I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
And number three, was Paradox able to alleviate the pain points for you?
100%. You were able to provide a smooth evening. My wedding specifically, we had like a pre-event cocktail hour where we had guests arrive and they were able to get a cocktail before the ceremony started. And so I was expressing to Justin on one of our first conversations the type of vibe I wanted, the positive, happy, kind of some 70s funk to get the mood set for the night, like a fun evening. Justin was able to start off the event with some really great playlists, honestly, for all the different generations, all the different age groups that I had at my event. You were able to alleviate a lot of those like things that I think a lot of people would be nervous about is the transitions. You were touching base with our coordinator a lot throughout the evening. It was nothing like so dramatic. I never even noticed it. But, later on, my coordinator was like, we were on the same page the entire time. And he would highlight things here or I would highlight things there and adjust throughout the day. You stepped up and made everything like smooth for us.
What was it like working with other DJs when you were hired as a wedding coordinator?
I have seen a lot of different types of DJs, but maybe it's just a friend that just like is into music, has good music taste, and they're just on an iPod, like playing music or on their computer. So you have that. I wouldn't consider that necessarily like hiring a DJ, but if that's what people need, then they can do that. But when it comes to hired professional DJs, sometimes I've seen DJs that kind of lack the confidence. Like maybe they're just really nervous or they're not able to carry the event. It's almost like they have a question in their tone or like they don't know what's going on either. It's just like a random announcements and it's just not flowing well. Like you might have everyone on the dance floor and all of a sudden it's a song that's not right for that vibe on the dance floor. And so I'm like, does a DJ know? There could be a lot more fun music choices right now, or maybe you have a lot of aunts and uncles on the dance floor and they're playing, Cardi B or Nicki Minaj, and that's not the vibe for the folks on the dance floor. And so I've seen that a lot where they're not able to pivot well. Not that it like totally fails an event, but it could be a lot better and dialed in. And so as I've been a wedding coordinator and as I was looking for a DJ, that was something that I was like, okay, can someone pivot? They need to be able to pivot better. And maybe that just comes with experience, which we'll get into later is why I chose Paradox. But my last thing that I've seen from other DJs from when I was doing event coordinating was like DJs that didn't pick up on small cues. Maybe it's running late. Maybe they're running ahead of time. Maybe the bride and groom don't have a wedding coordinator. And sometimes those DJs, they're oblivious. They don't know. And so hiring you actually was so great because you had your eyes on everything and you were able to really make suggestions. And I gave you that autonomy to kind of do what you wanted and you knew my vision. I've seen a lot of different types of DJs out there while I've done event coordinating. So I knew exactly the type of company and person I wanted to hire, just had to find them.
Yeah, I love that. And the thing that kept coming to my mind is read the room. Like, read the room.
Yeah.
Like I tell my 13-year-old son that even like he's not a DJ, doesn't want to be a DJ, but like I'm in here doing emails or whatever I'm in. He walks in and he starts talking to me about basketball, and I'm like, dude, read the room, right? Like
Yeah.
it's yes, it's about picking the right music at the right time for the right audience that's on the floor. But reading the room is so much bigger than music. It's about creating comfortable space and making the right moves, be it on the microphone or with the music, or just not doing anything at all. You know, based on being intentional about what you want to produce in that moment. So I love all that.
Yes.
What made our service offering stand out from all the others that you have seen and or considered?
One of the first things before we even spoke and you kind of shared with me, you know, who you are, what you bring to the table, I had seen, first of all, your website and I had seen some videos and I was not able to get that content from any other DJs or MCs. I wanted to see how you were speaking to the crowd, how you were leading crowd. Obviously, you know, you playing a set like is important to me, but I knew with your awards and, you know, how like reviews, I was like, okay, clearly he knows his music, but like I wanted to see how can he speak and articulate, you know, what the coming events are. I believe you had it like on your website after we were messaging back and forth. I didn't see that from anyone else. So instantly my gut was like, okay, this is the route I want to go. And just the transparency that we had from the beginning, you were like, look, this is what I have. This is what I offer. I'm not only for yourself, but you have a great team. I knew from the beginning with everything that you were just very open about, like, here's everything we have. This is what we can do. We can customize your package, things like that. Whereas other companies, it was more black and white. It was like, this is what we got, yes or no. And I didn't feel like there was that partnership or the back and forth. And, you know, you pay a pretty penny. And I didn't want to just say, here's my music, run my wedding for me. And so from the beginning, the communication stood out. And then the content that you had, which I know takes a lot of time to create the content, that was something that I didn't see anywhere else. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to hire someone that I hadn't seen any content from. So those were like the two main things that really stood out for me.
I'll throw an audible at you just based on something you said. You mentioned it being a pretty penny, and I think you were talking about weddings as a whole, right? But it's certainly some vendors as well, particular, and DJ prices are all over the place. So my question is, would you say that the amount that you invest in a DJ plays a large role in the success of the event as a whole, and therefore is almost like insurance for all the other money that you've spent on the wedding?
Yes, absolutely. I think the number one vendor that is underrated is a DJ. People don't invest or think about the DJ as being like the heavy hitter of the wedding. It's totally worth it. Many times me and my fiance at the time would review our list of like what was most important, what's not most important. And every single time, like the DJ, a strong MC was number one over anything. It was like a venue we love, but we could go get married on the street. If we had a good DJ, we'll get married anywhere. So I think it's definitely something that is important if you want to have just a really solid, smooth event. It was worth every penny for sure.
So what problems were you trying to solve with our services?
We wanted to find a DJ who we could feel confident in giving autonomy to make their own decisions when they feel necessary. It was so important to us to just not worry about our DJ for the day. We know we're on the same page and they can make the decisions as needed.
That's like my avatar client. What made you happiest about working with Paradox?
The professionalism, attention to detail, the kindness, and the confidence that was brought to the table from our first conversation. I felt comfortable saying, this is what I want. A lot of times picking a vendor, you are intimidated or you're nervous. And so from the beginning, I felt very comfortable with the professionalism and what you brought to the table.
How satisfied are you with the Paradox services?
My experience with you guys was A plus all the way through. I am over the moon thrilled. I was extremely satisfied. As soon as I see people get engaged online, I send a DM and say, call Justin at Paradox Productions. Easy.
What value do we provide?
Peace of mind, which is priceless, especially if you are a bride like me that knows exactly what they want and envision what they want. Paradox Production provided that for me. I had zero worries going into my wedding day about hiring this vendor.
If you had to choose one, what would be your favorite feature of the Paradox service offering?
Ooh, I got so many compliments on the photo booth. Everyone loved it. The filter was super glamorous. That was like a really fun thing that everyone was able to utilize, all ages. So that was a super fun service.
What about our business surprised you the most?
That is a great question. I was surprised with how detail oriented every step was, from our first conversation to the app to stay organized on creating a playlist. There were steps that you had in that I hadn't thought about. It was really cool that you provided that. I hadn't heard of that organizational tool. So I think that was pretty cool.
If there was one word you could use to describe your experience with Paradox, what would it be and why?
Ooh, I couldn't decide on one word, but I think overall I decided with exceptional. I also had a word of proficient. Everything was so easy and quick. I'm a chatter, so proficient. You were able to just get to the point without it feeling like just a business transaction, but also sophisticated. I feel like you elevated our wedding. And so I think sophisticated, exceptional, proficient, those are all words that I would use to describe my experience with Paradox.
What did you like best about your experience?
The communication the entire time, the attention to detail you had. I did not expect a DJ to have that high level of attention to the entire event. My experience as a coordinator before I was a bride was strictly playlist, what's the timeline? But with you, it was attention to detail. You wanted to know the entire event, even things that didn't pertain to you. That was really awesome. And just the ease of planning and again, making that playlist with that tool you had. Those were things that really created a good experience for me.
Were your expectations exceeded?
Absolutely. I felt confident going into my wedding, but towards the end, I was just like, dang, this DJ is so good. He's killing it. You had the dance floor packed at all times. So I think that was super cool. But yeah, we were blown away with the entire event.
Yeah, that was a fun dance party. Do you believe that our contribution to the success of your wedding will have a lifelong positive impact on you and your loved ones?
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. You were able to not only lead the event and help carry us along and make things flow. It was the words, it was how you said it, how you engaged with the guests, allowed our guests to engage more with us. We talk about it all the time with my friends and family from the wedding, how great the experience was. You definitely made an impact on everyone.
What's the main reason that you would recommend Paradox to other engaged couples?
The first thing that comes to mind as to why I recommend Paradox is I felt comfortable. I felt confident going into my wedding. I had a DJ that had common sense, had awareness. I think awareness is super important. The professionalism that was brought to the table from the moment we first met was just a high level of professionalism. But then also just having that like fun side, planning weddings is stressful. It can be stressful and nerve-wracking. And so having the conversations with you, they were light, they were fun. And so I think that was another reason why I enjoyed partnering with you and why I would recommend you in the future. If you want to go into an event and make it memorable and have it like elevated, 100%, that's why I'm referring people to you.
Is there anything else that you would like to comment on or say about Paradox?
Ooh. I just feel very grateful that you were available for my wedding. I feel very grateful that you were able to be flexible to our wants and needs and our very specific vision. And you were able to create that for us. And so, best vendor we ever hired. And I want to get married again just to have you throw us a party again. You're just going to have to work some of my friends' weddings.
I'm game. Let's go.
My name is Ellee Barnes, and I am thrilled that I have hired Paradox Productions for my wedding.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely the best DJ in the world. Killed it. Our floor was on fire all night. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Yes, so
Thank
good.
you
So baller. Thank you.
so much.